Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about hospitality. Hospitality doesn't require perfection. It can happen around a noisy table with macaroni and cheese for the main dish and ice cream for dessert. My sister Lori said very wisely, almost anyone can serve a bowl of ice cream. And she's right. It can happen with laundry on the couch and dust on the table. I know this because I'm a very imperfect hostess. Let me tell you about a time that I was what some people would call a complete failure. It's kind of funny. I was getting acquainted with these ladies at the You Relax foot massage place in town. One gal I really liked, and her name was Catherine. Actually, I called her Catherine for about 3 years, and then I found out her name is Vicky. But anyway, Vicky and her friend Cindy, I invited them over for breakfast on a Saturday morning. And I felt like I could because we had a Chinese girl living with us who could do some translating because I know that their English wasn't very strong. So the morning that they were to come, I fixed the breakfast. I had it all ready, and Yvonne was up and ready to go, and they didn't show up. So I called at the store, and at first they didn't answer, and then finally I got a hold of Vicky, and I had her talk to Yvonne, my student, and she just she said that she couldn't come because they were busy, but she also let it be known that she felt hesitant because of her English, or lack of English. So I said, well, when is a better time? Because she said Saturdays are busy, and I understood that. And she said Mondays. I said, okay, well, how about a week from Monday? Because Yvonne would be off school. It was the Monday before Christmas. And they said, sure, fine. So we set it up before their store opened because they opened around 9 or 9:30, so 8 o'clock. So 2 weeks later, then on a Monday morning, I was sitting at the computer and I was in my robe and pajamas and I was blogging or something. And the doorbell rang at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, my goodness, they're going to wake up the kids. They're home for Christmas vacation, and who could be coming over so early? So I go over and I swing open the door, and there's Vicky and Cindy, and they each had a bottle of wine in their hands, which was pretty comical at 8 o'clock in the morning. And they thought, they probably realized right away that I'd forgotten that they were coming because I had. And I invited them in because I thought at least they're here. And I showed them some pictures to look at on the wall. And I ran upstairs and got Yvonne out of bed and I changed my clothes. And Yvonne was chatting with them in Chinese when I came downstairs, and I quickly whipped up some scrambled eggs and chocolate chip pancakes. And I was so relieved that they stayed, but I really felt like that was very imperfect hospitality. And at the beginning, I just said, in our home, we say the blessing before we eat. And so Yvonne translated that. And Vicky turned to her and said in Chinese, well, we're Christians too. And I just was so surprised, pleasantly surprised. It was just so much fun to have that fellowship with another culture, and I would have missed out if I had never invited them. Even though when I invited them, I forgot that I invited them, which was kind of sad. And when I remember that, I just think, well, anybody can have someone over. I mean, look what I did. I'm the worst, and yet it still worked out. And when I get flustered and uptight and nervous about having a crowd or even one person over, I have to remember that hospitality is for the sake of the guests. It was for the sake of Vicky and Cindy, not for my sake, not for my embarrassment that I was in my robe when they came over. And to think about what is their need. How can I meet their need? How can I serve them? Do they need a comforting word, or do they need to be accommodated in some way, like spending the night? Does someone need a place to stay, or do they just need a listening ear? Do they need a full-on breakfast, or do they just need a cup of water, or maybe they just need scrambled eggs, last-minute scrambled eggs and chocolate chip pancakes? So instead of thinking about yourself and getting all nervous, think about how you can help that person, even in a very imperfect way. Hospitality does not require perfection, and that's what I want you to remember. It does require an invitation, though, an invitation made with love, with the motivation to want to serve someone else. And so I want you to ask the Lord today, who is it that you might want me to invite, even if you're a little nervous about it because you don't do it very much. And then if he gives you a name, make that text and um, make that call or whatever. And if they say yes, I would suggest putting a little reminder in your cell phone, just in case you're like me, and also buy pancake mix and chocolate chips next time you're at the store so that you'll be ready. Anyway, you have a great day and let me know how it goes. Thanks.